Okay, are we ready?
Okay, yes. So this is our Frightfest Round Up.
Yeah, we thought it'd be worth. We've been so lucky to see all these films kind of ahead of a time. We've had a few ahead of time, and people have trusted us to kind of like review them and be honest. So that's that's been a huge privilege. We've also been so lucky to see some incredible films, and again, like these mean nothing in the real world, but we do kind of want to give a bit of a roundup of the last nearly a month and 22 films, 21 films that we've watched. So we just wanted to bring some focus to our sort of favorites in different categories. We may repeat ourselves because obviously we're two people who are going to have our favorites, so don't take what we say as the absolute gospel.
Absolutely not. No.
Do go watch these films for yourselves and make your own decisions. However,
shall we start?
Welcome to the Horror Friendly Podcast.
Okay, now we obviously are a female-hosted podcast, so it only felt right to start with our favourite female-directed film from the films we have covered over the Frightfest season. So we have Charlotte, directed by Georgia Conlon, Cinderella's Curse, directed by Louisa Warren, St. Clair, directed by Mitzi Perrone, Seven Keys, directed by Joy Wilkinson, The Monster Beneath Us, directed by Sophie Osborne, Broken Bird, directed by Joanne Mitchell, and Happy Halloween, directed by Brittany Greer. So, Katie, which one was your favourite?
I'm going to say Charlotte, directed George Conlon. I just thought it was obviously one of the first films that we covered in Frightfest, and it was just
first,
so.
actually.
I think the very first, and I think. That's not obviously the reason why I'm just making that point. But I think just like, you need to go back and listen to that episode, but I just think it's such a powerful film. Yeah. And I think that she has obviously worked so hard to make that film come alive, and it's like been a long time coming. And I just think the use of sort of cinematography and the use of location I thought was beautiful, and I think she just made some really good choices. And I think she's awesome, and I think she's definitely one to watch for sure. I think I loved the film and her direction, and the fact that she wrote this as well. Just like emphasizes how talented she is. So I think she's certainly one to watch, someone that is going to be in more exciting things, I think. So George Conlon for me. What about you, Chantal?
I'm going to go with Joanne Mitchell, who directed Broken Bird. I think we have discussed these beforehand because we did want to make sure we both had our answers in there, because sometimes we couldn't choose just one. But I loved that film. As you said, similarly, I think there were so many choices made. You could just tell where the cinematography was brilliant. There was a moment in Broken Bird where something happens and you kind of have to go, did I just see that? Did that? And it makes you second guess yourself, but that's what the character is going through. And I think that's incredibly well shown. I think she shows a character who has every reason to be so dislikable, and somehow you end up falling in love with this character and falling in love with this film. And I think it was so well done. And I think we said it in the episode, there's so many controversial topics in it that it could have been done really distasteful, and it wasn't at all. It was really well done, and just it made you want to keep watching. And I think that was brilliant. So shout out to her.
Nice.
Okay, so our next category is going to be our favorite female lead. And we have decided on one together, because again we couldn't just pick one each. But we'll go with our favorite ones at first, and then we'll do our joint.
Cool.
So over to you.
I sound like a fucking broken record. I'm going for Georgia Conlon again, who plays Charlotte in her film Charlotte. Again, just like how she captures the emotion of her, and how we're really not sure about this character up until the very end. We don't know where she's going to go as this character. You're not quite sure about her. You're not meant to know, and I think that stays throughout the film. And it's just such a powerful performance, and you really believe her and you buy into it. And she's just a very talented actor, as well as writer and director. And I just can't stress that. I think also in general in TV and films, but I think certainly also in horror, she's one to watch. And I think like even Charlotte isn't like a primarily a horror film. There is some horrific elements in there, and there's a lot of difficult subjects, and she just handles that so well. And I just think she's great. So Georgia Conlon fan club over here, along with Dean Kilby apparently. But I just think she's awesome. Yeah. What about you?
So I'm going to go with Livy Hill, who plays Mary in Antisha. Again, I think it was such a difficult film, difficult film because of some of the topics it tackles. I think there was so much to be said about kind of, again, like two characters playing off each other. I think those actors have got to be really on it, because it'd be very easy for that to suddenly get very boring, just watching two people, and it wasn't. And I think actually the same in both cases, they're both playing kind of younger people. So rather than us watching, like a woman, as it were, we're watching kind of probably teenagers. And I think they kind of captured that really well, and kind of showed those sort of emotions and those, just trying to figure out the world and this new situation they're in, and all these, just so much and so many complicated things going on. But I think she absolutely smashed it. And she was fantastic.
She was.
Do you want to announce our joint?
Our joint, you go for it, Tal.
So we're going with Rebecca Calder, who played Sybil in Broken Bird, because again, as we said at the time, there's just not a lot of characters like that. There's not, especially females. Like, there's normally, if you find a sort of like quirky character, it typically goes to male actors.
Yeah,
and goes to,
especially in horror.
And like, women don't normally get the chance to sort of explore that kind of weirder role. So I just think she did such an incredible job of like making you meet this person and just be like, you're so quirky, but I should hate you, but you're brilliant. And she punched a corpse. Like, and I thought that was gonna be a spoiler, but it's in the trailer. But so like, how can you not love her? So yes, we're gonna go with Rebecca Calder for bringing Sybil to life, because it was incredible.
Yeah, she was awesome.
But leading us nicely onto our favorite male leads, I'll hand back over to you.
Thank you. I'm going to say Eamon from Antisha, played by Tom Kerrisk. I think, where do I start? I just think the way he was able to portray a kind sort of fatherly figure at some points, and then kind of, spoiler, I apologize, but also just turn into a completely different character. And it was something about the way Tom Kerrisk, his facial expressions scared me, like his eyes and the way he was able to just kind of drop everything and just change character completely. I just thought he was absolutely fantastic, along with just kind of like the aesthetic of the film. I think he just played with that perfectly. And just like the emotion in the words he was saying, and he just, as a character, he had a lot of like layers to. Eamon had a lot of layers to him, and I think Tom just like portrayed that perfectly. I'm a huge fan of that film anyway, so I just think he contributed to that like hugely. I just thought he was awesome, so shout out Tom Kerrisk. I think he was great. What about you?
So I'm going to go with Linus Walgreen, who played Priest Theodore in The Name of God. So again, I think he did amazing. I think, interestingly as well, we both went for actors who were in foreign language films. So obviously it's interesting when you're watching a film in a different language and you're having to read the subtitles, but the actor is so good that you actually at times forget you're reading subtitles, forget it's in a different language, because you're so into the story and into their emotions, and they're portraying so much that you completely forget you actually couldn't understand what was going on if you just heard those words. But because of their emotion, because of their acting, you know exactly what's happening. And I think he did so brilliantly at portraying a priest who was faced with some incredibly difficult situations, and almost too good to be true situations, which he then had to tackle, and for himself, for his wife, for his congregation, and there was just so much for him. But I think he did such a brilliant job of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he did.
but
Nice.
we do also have a joint favorite who we've already mentioned. This poor man is gonna think we're stalking him, and we're not. It was it was not our fault. He decided to act in 3 of the films at Frightfest and keep coming up in our films. So he played Alan in Members Club, Ben in Derelict, and Roy in Charlotte. It's of course Dean Kilby, who, as we've said, not just as like a great actor, like those 3 films, 3 very different characters.
Yes.
So again, it's almost unfair to other actors at the moment that we can't praise them because we've not seen them do as much. But his comedic timing in Members Club was fucking phenomenal. He was terrifying in Charlotte.
Yes. Yeah. Very eerie. Just kind of like
so unsettling.
Didn't really know who he was.
No.
What his game was like. Yeah. You don't really find out anything about him for a while, but you just very unsettling. You're not sure if this guy's going to be a good guy or a bad guy.
And then again in Derelict, where he was a whole other character, and you almost feel sorry for him at times. You almost feel, I don't know, like resentful. I'm glad we did see him in Members Club because I think it showed you a human side of him rather than just he is a monster as a human. And we've been very fortunate, you know, we've spoken to a little bit on Instagram, so we started following him, and all he does is post, like he was posting pictures of his wife celebrating her, and I'll keep mentioning it because he's a green flag man, and you know what,
there aren't many of them.
They're not like, we just shout about it when they're out there. So honestly, like we're not, it's becoming a problem. Even my partner's like
that is mental.
But because I was like, look, he's a green flag man. He's like, just leave this man alone.
We're sorry, Dean. Now Frightfest is over, we will leave you alone.
We will leave you alone.
Until your next film goes.
We will leave you in peace. It's almost embarrassing, but it's like, you put yourself in 3 films, like your fault. So that leads us nicely on to best script, though.
Best script. I'm gonna say The Life and Deaths of Christopher Lee. This was one of my favorite films shown at Frightfest, and I just absolutely loved the storytelling of his life, the narration, and just the kind of way, the sort of just very sort of dignified way that they spoke about his life, and how I don't know, obviously Peter Serafinowicz is impersonating him, and it's just all done in a very sort of classy way, and just in a kind of powerful way as well, especially, you know, as we've spoken about on the episode, like when they get to the point where he eventually passes. It's just done with such grace and dignity, and I think I just think it was great. Everything about that film, I feel like everything that they covered and they spoke about, you know, not even about horror, like this film wasn't just about his life in the horror world, and I just think like the script really emphasized that, and I just think it was great. It was really touching tribute and just lovely words about such a fantastic actor. So yeah, I think it's just a great film and a great script. But yeah, what about you, Tal?
No, I completely agree. Again, I'm not obsessed, I swear, but I'm gonna go with Members Club because it's a genuinely fun film.
I've got to agree with you there.
And this was the thing, we covered this in our first episode, and it set us so high for Frightfest.
It really did.
Sold out twice at Frightfest.
Yeah.
It's so fun. There isn't another film like it. There's, I was gonna say like twists and turns, but it's not even like twists and turns that like you don't see coming. It's just the comedy timing. The comedic timing is on point. Whoever wrote that script, and I will say it again, the frog scene is something of a masterpiece.
So good.
It's so good. I think it really was, and again, like it was in our first episode, and yeah, for weeks on end since, I cannot wait to see this film. I think it's coming out soon onto streaming channels.
Okay.
Is that what you call them? Streaming?
Well, it's so
streaming
old.
services. We are so old now. We will share it on. Absolutely, we'll share it on Instagram. We have requested a calendar. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Tell has, okay.
Shut up, it's our joint account. But yeah, we just want to really support this film because it's a really good script. So,
some standouts in terms of the script for me is Cock o'clock.
Cock
And
o'clock.
why is he knocking one out? Was probably they were two of my favorite.
It's the fact that it's in a horror film.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's so much fun, and I think we just needed it that week, and it was great.
Yeah.
But going in another direction, what was your favorite SFX?
I'm gonna say Broken Bird by Joanne Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean, how can I not say it? I mean, it's literally about a woman who works in a morgue, so there is a lot of gore and SFX and just some great scenes in it. It's so effective. You've really got to watch it to kind of understand how good the gore is in it. But it's just done really well, I think, and there's some real standout moments. But yeah, I think also it's not like overly kind of put in as well. There's not like tons of it, and that kind of just makes it more effective, I think. So yeah, I mean, amazing film and great SFX along the way. So I think that also always helps in a horror film as well. And in this film, it was definitely needed and required. So yeah, I'm gonna say Broken Bird.
I will also give a shout out to Traumatica. I did try and find their names, and unfortunately, I don't think the IMDb is completely up to date just yet. So it wasn't listed who did their SFX. But whether you're looking at the SFX for the gore at the end or the just nightmarish horrors at the beginning, that opening start with Abigail, oh my god. I mean, the acting alone, actually, she was oh my gosh,
Rebecca Kennedy.
Thank you. I was playing a blank on her name. She absolutely could have been our favorite female lead. Easily. But the makeup on her was, I actually jokingly put on our YouTube because the lovely director reached out to us and I was like, yeah, thanks for the nightmares, because that opening scene is really nightmare inducing.
Traumatica is definitely a good one to shout out because that stays with you for a while.
It's the fact it's like the poster I keep seeing as well. It's just there staring at me.
Terrifying. Rebecca, you're terrifying.
You should be very proud. So we're going to go on to our favourite top three each. So we definitely overlapped a little bit with this. So we decided we have talked about it and we've gone with 3 different ones each.
Yeah.
Because we did want to kind of give a shout out to as many as we could.
Yeah.
But would you like to go first?
Yes. I mean, I will say, just to add on to that, I think there is like a solid sort of 6-ish that are just our favourites.
Yeah.
So mine is going to be The Life and Deaths of Christopher Lee, directed by John Spira. Say no more. Listen to our episode on it. Better still, when it comes out, watch it.
Support.
So great. So I just loved everything about it. Cinematography was fantastic. The narration was great. As I said, the script was great. And just a very touching, great tribute to a great actor. And then my second is Antaisha, directed by John Farrelly. Again, just listen to our episode, and obviously watch the film. Oh God, just the look of this film is just a bit of me. Everything about it is right up my street, and the fact that it's the first Irish-speaking horror film is incredible. Just. It's great. It's so cool that it's managed to make its way to Frightfest. And we've had the privilege of watching it. The acting is fantastic and the look of it is just so visually beautiful. It couldn't not go in my top 3 really. And then the very last one is Broken Bird, and I sound like a broken record.
I know. But
directed by Joanne Mitchell, and it's just fantastic. The script is great. The acting is brilliant. It's so different from anything I've seen before. And I know, Tal, I would say you probably do agree with that. If it could be one of her top 3 as well, top 5 or whatever, top 4. But it had to make its place, I think. On there, and I can't wait to watch it again when it comes out.
I can't wait to watch it with certain people and be like,
what did you think?
Just introduce them to Sybil. Okay, my top 3 in no particular order.
Oh God.
Again, I sound like a broken record. I sound like a creep, but I'm not. But Members Club is incredible.
Stalker.
Not a stalker. I just like their work. Okay. And again, like it's been really hard actually to go through these films. As you said, we probably are biased because these are like our top kind of favorites. So but because we liked the script, because we liked the makeup, because we like the acting, so it is hard because it does sound like we're repeating ourselves. But again, go see our reviews and watch the films and make up your own mind, because actually you may, there's bloody hell, like of all the films we've covered, there's something for everyone.
Absolutely.
But my second favorite, my second on the list is going to be In the Name of God. Again, that's already come up. But I do, again, just think if you can keep me that captivated in a foreign language when I'm an absolute nightmare to watch a film with.
Yeah.
Then, how do I have a film podcast? Like, this is a nightmare. I'm not, I just need entertainment. That says everything. And again, I just love that concept. I loved so much about that film. But yeah, again, another one I can't wait to show people.
Yeah.
And last but definitely not least is going to be Charlotte, which again, the first film we covered, which you even texted me about, because you watched it before Friday, you were like, just watch Charlotte. You have to watch Charlotte now. So I was like, okay, this is going to be good. And absolutely not disappointed. It was brilliant. It was so, yeah, I was going to say, like, just like it really gets you.
Yeah,
I can't really think of a word for it, because it is just like it punches you in the gut, but then it warms your heart. And it's just so much going on in that one story. And so it's absolutely incredible. But please, again, thank you for supporting us doing these Frightfest specials. We've really appreciated all the extra support that we've had. We can't believe we've been given the chance to do this. This has been incredible. And I'll give a lot of credit to you, because you did a lot of the work in the leading up to it. And we just want to say thank you so much for everyone. But please go and check out these films and support the directors, the actors, the editors, the producers, the SFX artists, the musicians, everyone that's been involved, because it's an endless list. And a lot of them were done independently on small budgets. So
amazing. So cool we've been given this opportunity. We've had a great time doing it. We've kind of made some pals along the way, and you've gained Dean Kilby, you've gained 2 fans, maybe one a bit more so than me. But
now you're making it awkward.
Stop making it a thing.
I just love the green flag man. Okay.
No, that's fair. We all do. But I'm so happy we've been given this opportunity, and so grateful to everyone that's given us the opportunity. And going to Frightfest was such a cool experience. Being able to kind of like be amongst so many creative people, and being amongst all the people that love the same things as we do. It's such a cool space to be in. So what a cool event. I'm hoping Tel can come next time and we can rock up and we can meet everyone, and that would be great. So my glass is empty, but cheers.
Mine's empty over there. So
they will be filled up soon.
They will indeed. Well, have a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, guys.
We'll be back soon with a new season.
Absolutely, yes. Keep an eye out for that, because we're about to discuss that season right now.
That is our next album drop.
Yes. Bye.